So, left-hand one then Bernie's your before, right-hand one's your after. The left-hand one is going to be a bigger swing, so it'll look a little bit different anyway, but for the movement that we're looking for, okay? Club as you go back here now, okay? This wasn't too bad, but you see the face now starting to rotate a little bit. That's a little bit more toe up than slightly more tilted toe down. What we'd want to try and see is, if that's your spine angle, the club shaft should be in there. You're probably a little bit more like so. So you rotate the club face up a little bit, okay? Then you start getting steep as you go through, so you're going above kind of your right shoulder, through your collarbone there, okay? As you then start coming back to the golf way, this is the movement we're trying to really get at your swing here now. Your club shaft is pointing through kind of your neck area, and if you can sort of see the club face there, that club face at that position, okay, is like that, okay, sort of pointing back over. We want it really more facing that way to come here. If we've got it like there, as you've got it there, pointing sort of back behind you, when you come back here, you're there, and then it's like, oh crikey, I've got to do an awful lot of that, or chuck it over the top to start it somewhere left of target. And that's the big problem now, that the club face is that open, okay, when you start coming back in the golf ball. Now that club now is wide outside here, outside the golf ball, hands are a long way from the body. Now this movement on the right hand side, yes, it's a smaller move admittedly, as the club's going back, okay, a little bit on the inside, but I don't mind it to start with, okay, as the club starts working back. But for me, the impact there, just look at that kind of downswing position, and I'm sure you watch golf on TV. Look at those two arms there in terms of movement. Now, this is the same position coming back down into impact, okay? This one, your hands are kind of more in front of your chest there, okay? This one, the hands obviously gone away. There's daylight between your hands and your chest underneath your left arm there, okay? Look at your right foot, your right knee. Look at your right foot and your right knee. There's a lot less of that kind of that going on to try and please go somewhere left, because I think what happens over time is if you see a golf ball doing that, you will do everything in your power to start it somewhere over there, which generally means either leaning on your back foot, rolling your arms, throwing the shoulder, the knee, the hip forward in this sort of direction here to the golf ball to just get your path somewhere left of target, in almost like just desperate. Of course it is, yeah, exactly. I think people are more aware of the club face than they actually realise. And if they feel the club face is wide open, they go, what do I got to do a lot? And if they've seen a golf ball curving all their life, they know they've got to start the ball somewhere left of target. So if we can get that club working back in now, that's a much better pace of the ball. They've been struck there with a pretty darn square club face. Lower half movement there into impact is so much better. I mean, that club face just out there, arms are well away from the body, feet are very active, trying to sort of swing that golf club somewhere left of target. And if your club is swinging too much this way, the quality of your contact is going to be affected. We're trying to swing a golf club effectively through two pillars, which will have a golf ball in the middle of. If you're going to drive a car through two gate posts, you'd want to drive it through fairly straight. It could be a slight curve, which a golf swing will be, obviously, kind of slightly curving this way. But if you're coming across at a funny angle in, there's a pretty good chance you'll dink one side of your car, because the angles are a lot more acute. You come into a golf ball here now, hitting the golf ball this way, you could catch the heel first, the middle of the club, or the toe, because you're coming this way. If I'm going this way, pretty likely I'm going to catch the middle part of the club more often. If I do get a bit toey or heely, I'm still hitting the ball towards target rather than this glancing blow and scuffing across, which is why these shots, as you hit in there, were going quite a long way without you putting a lot of effort into it, because the club was coming more so on a more efficient angle here to the golf ball. Okay, hitting the middle part of the screen. It was a little bit cutting away because the club was a smidgen open. Okay, we can work on, as I say, with that sort of practice there at home. But the sensation is going to be, I think mainly about your right palm. That's kind of your club face that's attached to your body, shall we say. So the club goes back a bit more palm down. If you start developing a little bit more, it's kind of more kind of feeling of palm up, palm down, palm to target. What a lot of golfers do, they sort of rotate their forearm so the palm is now up, and they start coming back to golf. I'm just trying to do a lot of this twisting and rolling, or a combination of shoulder kind of lunging forward, okay? And I always use the example of sort of giving someone a high five. If someone's down there, oh, give me a high five, you sort of go into your hand would go back kind of in this position, you cock your wrist back like that, you wouldn't go, okay, and then do this and go, hang on, his hand's out, and try and hit him, would you? It just wouldn't seem natural. So, as strange as it might look on the range, and people might go, oh, look at him being a bit cocky, perhaps do it at home in the garden, or just take a golf club with your right hand only, and just hit some shots of this kind of length where you go palm down, palm up, just doing that, and that. So you actually hit some golf balls like this, okay? Taking away that need of doing this and then checking the top. It'd be a really good one for your short game anyway. Something I said to you on Sunday with the short game. If you look at me, I didn't play great, obviously, but I scored fairly close to where I would expect to just by chipping. I mean, every the first 4 or 5 holes I missed the green, I was chipping and putting. I chipped within, okay, picked a few balls up obviously, but I was just trying to get out of the way. But yeah, most of my chips were in sort of like 2, 3, 4 foot each time, because the quality of contact I know is going to be fairly good, and therefore I can judge distance. If we're catching a bit thin or a bit heavy, the distance control is a guess, isn't it? So work on that kind of feeling of hitting the goal with a palm down, and then from there, just turn your torso through, almost as if you're pacey going, all right, high five, or low five in the case would be, rather than this rolling and rotating, yeah?
Yeah.
Make sense, buddy?
Absolutely.
Good man. Good.